Good morning, everybody. It is the next day. Yesterday we ended up getting the transmission in the MR2, and then that we also got like the slave cylinder hooked up. We got the new clutch disc in there, clutch all situated. All right, so we ended up getting the axles in, and the axle hanger from Frankenstein Motorworks worked perfectly for the Camry axle or Solara axle, whichever one. Same difference. When I say Camry, Solara, same difference. This transmission and these parts came out of a Solara, but Solara and Camry, same thing. Just Solara's two-door. So, what's next? Oh yeah, so the Frankenstein part worked perfectly for that to hang the axle, and we got the axles in, and they're definitely I think they're wider. It's hard to tell until we get the hubs on, and right now the hubs are not apart because I can't get them apart. But my neighbor, he's a Subaru mechanic, and he said he's going to take them to work and press them out, and we're going to get some new bearings and hubs today, Camry hubs and bearings, so that we don't have to even mess with the old Camry hubs. All we got to do is press out the hubs and bearings from the MR2, press in some new ones, and then we can figure out if and by how much we need to widen the track width on this thing to fit those axles. So, but last night I was trying to get this cross member back in here. This is where the motor mount bolts here, and the motor mount bolts here, and also a lot of the suspension points hang off of. So, I tried to put it in, and we were hitting right here. The axle was hitting right in here. So I bashed that with a hammer, and that's the first thing we're going to do this morning. We're going to try and get that back in there after we start a fire, because it's kind of chilly in here. But yeah, we'll get that back in, and then the plan is, hang the suspension links, get things back, close to where they need to be, and then we'll work on the shifter cables, and I'll come back at you guys with what we're going to do with those. Looks like we got clearance. What you saw me doing there was making a bushing for this shifter cable. Apparently I left this in the junkyard, the bushing or something. I don't know where it is. But so now we're gonna have a solid bushing in there, and this washer right here is going to retain that, and then the pin goes in like that. So I already measured these cables, the cables that I'm using. They're full travel, basically. They're extended length and they're collapsed length, because we're going to make this little shifter box that houses where these four cables connect together. But anyway, so now I'm trying to actually hook these up to the transmission, and I want to get the actual shifting length, like how much, what's the length when it's shifted into first versus second, the forward to back. And then same thing with the side to side. How much room does it take to go side to side? So I gotta get all those measurements written down, and I need to figure out, what it's gonna take as far as the size of the box, the length of the arms, and all this stuff. And some of it's just gonna be a guess. So there's definitely gonna be some trial and error here. I'm gonna try and work this out as best as possible. you know, without doing the trial and error. But in the end, there's probably going to be some sort of trial and error. But we'll see. We'll see if we can get this thing first shot. But I doubt it. But now we got shifter bushing, so we can get both of the shifter cables installed, and we can measure, you know, the distances for open and close on these cables, or for shift, you know, as far as the distance that it takes to actually shift the gears on these cables. We're getting to the point here where we're going to test this out. It's not both of them yet, but we're just going to test this one out since we've been working on this for so long. We need some gratification. We need to see if this thing works. So this right here is, I'll grab the, so this side here, the cable is going to go in through this side, and it's going to hook onto here. This is for the cable from the shifter, and it's just got a spherical bearing on it. It's going to slip over there. We'll put a nut on it. This nut on there, the locking nut. And then this side is going to be for this. So this slips in here and then gets hooked onto here. So this bolt here is basically, I put it in the lathe, and I just took the edges off of it, and it fit perfectly in this socket here. So it's got this weird end on it. So we're just making stuff work that we have. So we're gonna take this over to the car, we're gonna get it hooked up, and we're gonna see if we have front to back, because that's what this should be. It should be shifting it from front to back, like you're going from first to second, or third to fourth, or fifth to reverse, you know. So we're gonna see if we did this correctly. All right, this is a pretty big moment here on this shifter assembly. I ended up having to move the pivot point. So I ended up having to move the pivot point. It was here. I didn't think that, you know, these are unequal. So, you know, this one is longer than that one. So the pivot point obviously needs to be further that way towards the short one. So, but I'm gonna try to see if I can get you to hang on here somewhere, and I'll go in and I'll shift it for you. I'm thinking now that I'm going to split these up into two different shifter boxes. So I'm going to build this one out. I'm going to cut that extra piece off because I'm having packaging problems, for one. And then we're also going to have, a top on here, and that this bolt goes through, so that way it's totally stabilized. Because right now we're going to have all this movement in here, but once we have the little top piece on here, that will stabilize that. And but it should work as it is right now. Yep, and then that guy flipped off of there, so I'm gonna have to make sure that this is, I'm gonna have to get this cable twisted around and oriented right so that it's not trying to twist off of there. So, oh my goodness, what a chore this has been so far. Okay, and then the top of the box will also keep that, help keep that from popping off of there too, because it does fit on there pretty well. But anyways, I gotta take this out anyway, so that's a big step in the right direction. We're gonna go ahead and pop this one out. We're gonna finish making this box, and then we'll move on to the second one, and hopefully the second one will go easier. But, you know, we still got a lot to do here just to finish this one. So I'm gonna cut this excess off here. We gotta build another side to this, and then we're gonna build that top, that little piece that goes over the top here. And then this box, with the right hardware, it'll be done. All right, it's the next day, like late afternoon. I've been working on this for a long time. But I finally have the first box finalized. There it is, in place. If I can get you as good as a picture as possible on there. Feels really good. So, yeah, on to the next one. All right, I am super happy to say that this shifter setup is in here and it works. And man, that hood strut's a terrible view, and everything else in the way. So I'm not really sure. Yeah, that's probably more like final position right there. We'll try to get this kind of zip tied up and like tied out of the way so we don't have any problems with it. But there's two boxes there, two shifter boxes, one on top of another, and then I'll give you guys a little shifting, just to probably more for audio. Hear what it sounds like. So yeah, there you go. It shifts. I think I'm gonna call it for the day. I'm super happy to get this done, and I'm waiting on getting my hubs back. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna call it a day and take it easy for the rest of the day. Well, it's 5 o'clock, so, but yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this episode. Shifter boxes were a huge thing to overcome, and we're not gonna know exactly how it works until we get it driving, but from the way it is when it's just sitting, it feels really nice. It feels good. So that's a huge hurdle to overcome. We got our transmission in there, and we got to get our hubs and probably lengthen our suspension and stuff, but you'll see that on the next episode. So if you like this video, smash that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button along with the bell to get notified of future videos. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.